Mayor,
Thank you.
I'm joining. It's time.
Yeah, we have to mute everybody.
Oh, there's one. Okay, there's.
Mute all. Let's mute all.
Yeah, it'll take a few minutes.
Yeah, it takes a few minutes.
Mute all current person. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, we're ready? It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Shalom ubracha. It's great to be back after 2 years. Last time was 2 years, and some of you were here, some of you were not. Baruch Hashem. So we tonight are going to enter a new world of Rabbi Nachman's teachings, the world of Simcha, as it's from the perspective of one of his most powerful lessons on Simcha, lesson 24. To introduce it, we have to first go into the Torah's perspective of Simcha, okay? Where do we find the main emphasis of Simcha in the Torah? In Parashat Kitavo, the end of the Chumash, we have there all the curses, 98 curses, that if now you don't do the will of Hashem, this is going to happen, that arur, you'll be cursed for this, and all these terrible things and everything. Towards the end, what does it say there? It says, Tachat Asher, all this will happen. Tachat Asher, lo avadetem et Hashem elokechem b'simcha uvtuv levav. All this is happening to you because you're not serving Hashem. Enjoy, besimcha uvtuv levav, and with a good heart. Crazy, it's unbelievable. It doesn't say, all this is happening to you because you're not serving Hashem. It says all this is happening because you're not serving Hashem b'simcha. Okay? The concern of Hashem and the curses happening is the factor, the barometer factor of simcha, of joy, if it's there or not. Okay? The Torah is telling us this. So when the Litvaks tell us, where does it say you breast liver as mitzvah gadol b'simcha? Where does it say? Where? Here it is, right over here. It's the cup behind all the 600 mitzvot. That if you have the simcha, this is the key for serving Hashem. Now, why? It's understood why. That when there is joy in serving Hashem, you will hang in there and continue through thick and thin. You will be there connected, as opposed to someone who's always serving Hashem and everything is a burden, everything is difficult, everything is hard. So when such a person gets hit with a major difficulty, so he'll drop it. He says, I don't need this. The Gemara says that someone who serves Hashem out of yira, someone who serves his master out of yira, you push him too far. I don't need this. I don't need this stuff. Shalom, Adirchi, leave me alone. I don't need that, okay? But now when you serve with simcha, you want to connect. You do everything to be a part of it. I'll do everything. I'll flip the world to be a part of this devotion, this action, because there's the joy factor, okay? So the Torah shows us the opening of simcha. Rav Nosson goes a step further, and he says in the Likutei Halachot that in fact, the simcha, this is an amazing statement. These people will be shaken to hear this. It's because it's really phenomenal. He says that the simcha in doing a mitzvah is even greater than the mitzvah itself. That's unbelievable when you hear that. Because you might think if that's the case, so why do mitzvah? Just, get a bottle and drink up and be happy and be happy all day if the main thing is to be with simcha. No. It's simcha which emanates from the mitzvah. The mitzvah is like the flame on the bottom, and the simcha is what's derived, which is coming out of it. It's simcha which can only be experienced through tefillin, through Shabbat, through Yom Kippur, through shofar, through tzedakah, through Talmud Torah, kibud orim, any of the Taryag mitzvot. It's generated from specifically these mitzvot, and it's this type of simcha that knows no boundaries, no limitations. It's a Gemara. Masechet Brachot, Daf Lamed, Amud Aleph, Amud Bet. There it talks about two Amoraim, Rabbi Zera, and another Amora. One second here. They both were exceedingly happy. The Gemara says they were joking and smiling and laughing. So each one got a remark. One got a remark. 1 second. There's a pasuk that says, "Vegilu birada." You should rejoice, but with a limitation of trepidation. You be happy, fine, but you have to put on the brakes. You have to know when to put on the brakes. Okay. The other Amorah got another pasuk from Mishlei. Bechol etzev yiyeh motar, which means that etzev, which is sadness, bechol etzev, in all sadness, yiyeh motar, milashon yitaron. There's an advantage of their having some sadness. It's not good to overdo it. We know, God forbid, when people go to parties and everything, They get drunk and everything. They get lightheaded. They don't say brachot. They did this. People begin to act very lightheaded and even stumble. That's the worry. Rashi says in the Gemara, the fear is that a person now will have lightheadedness if now he's too over happy. They both answered, Rabbi Zera and Abaye. They both answered, I'm wearing tefillin. I'm wearing tefillin, and I have every right to be exceedingly happy with no limitation. This, down the Gemara, I think it's the Rashba, if I remember correctly, he says, this is the case, that when a person is doing a mitzvah, he can have endless, limitless simcha. There's no limit. To everything else, there's a limit. But the simcha in doing a mitzvah, there's no limit at all. It has reached, you have the permission to go all the way and be happy, which was the case of these two Amoraim, right? Normally, Asur Adam lemalot piv schok ba'olam hazeh, Asur Adam lemalot piv schok ba'olam hazeh, right? Person is forbidden to have his mouth full of laughter from this world. That's from this world. From worldly matters, you can't have overdoing it, okay? But something's wrong here. Something is really wrong here. That's right. But when it comes to mitzvot, a person is allowed to go all the way B'ezrat Hashem. This is a few ideas of the idea of serving Hashem with simcha. One more final teaching from Rabbeinu Bachei, Parashat Naso. He learns out from Parashat Naso that simcha is connected to every mitzvah and is a mitzvah in itself. He learns out where it says by the avodah of the Leviim in the Beit HaMikdash, in the Mishkan, that they have what's called avodat masa and avodat avodah. Avodat masa is, for example, the tribe of Merari carrying the krashim of the Mishkan or the Yeriot, etc. Okay, that's avodat masa, of carrying. There's also what's called avodat avodah of the Levi. Rashi explains there in Sefer Vayikra that it's a service for another service. It's an avodah for another avodah. What's the avodah for the other avodah? It's the avodah of the Leviim singing on the duchan, on the musical instruments in the Beit HaMikdash, on the Mishkan, for the sake of avodah of the Kohanim while they're doing the korbanot. So he learns out, Rabbeinu Bachei, that it calls it an avodah. Mitzvah is called avodah. And it's called an avodah, and it's an avodah of happiness, of singing, because that was one of the purposes, the main purpose of the Leviim singing while the korban was being sacrificed was in order to induce simcha. The person bringing the korban, whether it's korban todah or korban chatat, whatever, korban olah, the music was made him to feel good, to feel positive, that here I'm doing something which is constructive and positive. It's going to be, if it's a kapara, an atonement, it's going to be atoned. If it's to give thanks to korban todah, it's thanksgiving, right? Shlamim, all the types of korbanot, the music was meant to help and enhance the scenario, the feeling, the experience of the Baal Korban to be happy. Okay, so Rabbeinu Bachei takes this as an arichut that you can see in Parashat Naso. It's very long. That he says that this applies to all the mitzvot, which means when I do, for example, the mitzvah of tefillin, so I get credited to a mitzvah for doing the mitzvah of tefillin. Okay, great, bravo, shkoyach. If now I do the mitzvah with simcha, so I get an additional mitzvah. I get an additional mitzvah just for the simcha itself. This is powerful when you think about it. That this is the key here. The key, the goal of the mitzvah is to be b'simcha, because this is what Hashem wants of us. The goal, Rav Nosson explains, of the entire creation, believe it or not, is to be happy about Hashem. The goal, Hashem created this world for himself to become made known in the world. Begin the yishtem moda'in le. The Zohar says the purpose of the creation is that Hashem should become and be made known in the world. Okay, this knowing of Hashem is basically His love, His compassion, that He is goodness, His tuv levav of Hashem, that He wants to give of His goodness to the world. Me being happy with that, that's the whole goal. The goal of a Yid, believe it or not, is with all the Torah study, all the effort put in serving Hashem, that I should feel good about it. I should feel the connection. The goal is not now that I'm now in my Torah study, in my lamdanut, in my daily schedule, and I'm always rushing, and I'm always under stress and everything, and I'm not experiencing the simcha of what I'm doing. That Hashem doesn't want. Hashem wants that we should experience the joy in putting on tefillin, that we should have the joy of keeping Shabbos. It should not be a burden. Like that famous analogy, the mashal of the Magid of Dubno, the famous mashal, people know this mashal, we see it in all the art school books, at least, okay, at least I did, that the Maggid of Dubno give this analogy of a guy who was sent by his master to pick up a package at the postal office. And he comes back 2 hours later. 2 hours later, he comes back half dead with a bag of bricks. And the master said, why you took so long? And he's like, what could you send me to bring? He's plutzy, he can't even talk. He said, what is this? He looks at the address. He said, this is a mistake. This is not my package. I didn't get any package like this. It's the wrong address. So he said, the Maggid of Dubno something very powerful. If you see that your Yiddishkeit, your Judaism, your daily living, because your day as a Jew is packed with mitzvot, whether you like it or not, every time you turn, you're apt to do a mitzvah. The famous Biur Halacha, the very beginning of the Mishnah Berurah, you all know this Biur Halacha, I assume, that the Chafetz Chaim lists 6 mitzvot that a Jew can do just by thinking. You just think certain thoughts about the greatness of Hashem and the Achdut and everything. You take a look in the Biur Halacha, you do a mitzvah just by thinking, right? Rav Nosson, he says even more than this. Rabbi Chananya ben Akasha Omer, right? Translation, right? Rabbi Chananya ben Akasha says, Hashem wanted to bring merit to the Jewish people. So how did he bring merit? He gave them tons of Torah and mitzvot. So Nosson says that's a merit, that's a burden. You want to give merit, so you give him more work to do, that's the merit? So Nosson answers, that is a merit. Because there are so many mitzvot, it's not just 613 or whatever we have today because there's no Beit HaMikdash. It's their offshoots, the toladot, and then the connections, and also you have one mitzvah that's connected to 40 others. You can do Kibul Dorim and at the same time do Tzedakah and Chesed and Azov Tazov Imo. You can have 50, sometimes 40, 50, 60 mitzvot connected when doing just one act. And there's also derivatives, etc. Right? You know, in Chazal and Gemara. So because there's so many mitzvot in the life of a Jew, every time he turns to do something, he's apt to do a mitzvah. There's a mitzvah there, okay? So going back in your life, do you feel that joy? Are you happy with yourself? Do you have simchat chaim? Am I happy with my Yiddishkeit? Do I appreciate my getting up in the morning? Or is getting up in the morning to go to shul? You know, I remember time to make the donuts. There's a guy waking up, he's half asleep, right? He's like half dead. He's waking up to go, he's still sleeping, he's going to make the donuts because he wake up 3 a.m. before all the morning clientele come in, right? Time to make the donuts. Do you wake up half dead? Do you wake up in the morning? Oh, I have to go to Daven again. Oh no, you know, is it heavy? Is it a burden? It's simcha to do it. Is it something which is positive to do? Do you feel good about it? Or do you feel it's a burden? If it's a burden, something is wrong here. We're missing something in our coordinates here. Just 1 second here. What's going on? Okay. So this is the factor of simcha having a big part in the life of a Jew. It has to be there. That's your functioning. To get up in the morning is by most men the biggest killer, right? It's a big killer to wake up on time. And on top of that, when you don't wake up on time, when you set your alarm clock for 6, or if you're a Breslover, it's sometimes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, depends if you want to get up Chatzot, okay? When you wanted to wake up, you're getting up for midnight, you're getting up for Al-Ashkata before Lot Shachar, whatever, you have a Chavruta before Nets, okay? And instead of waking up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, you wake up at 10 in the morning. A normal guy, he starts cursing and everything and getting upset and everything. But halacha says no. When you wake up in the morning, whether you wake up at 10 or 3, 2, 1, you have to say modani. You don't say, oh, darn it, and get upset and you just go back to sleep. You have to do modani. You have to give thanks for the scenario that Hashem sent you, okay? Point being, simcha is needed to function. Simcha is needed also in these scenarios to handle the lechatchila situations and the b'diavad and the anus and the sha'at dachak. You're going to need simcha in your devotions. With this now, we're going to introduce a famous story of the Heilige Rav Elimelech of Bezhensk and his older brother, Rav Zushavai Napoli, that they, at a time, went on a self-imposed exile, galut. They went incognito to certain villages. No one knew who they were. They were just a simple Yidden. They arrived at one village. Whatever they did, their tikkunim, whatever they had in mind. They came to a village where there was a curfew, a night curfew, let's say 8 p.m. And they arrived 10 to 8 at this village with not enough time to prepare lodgings. So 8 p.m., they're on the street. And the curfew was that if police catch anybody on the streets, they would arrest them automatically, no questions asked, even if they were innocent, as a preliminary precaution, if there were any thieves or robbers or murderers, that this should not be in this little village. Everyone be arrested, no one should be out at night on the streets. That was this village. So Rav Zusha, Rav Elimelech, they were on the streets. The police saw them, they arrested them. They put him in the prison cell until the morning. The prison cell was a giant room with tons of mattresses around and a toilet in the middle of the room to relieve themselves. In the room, there were Jews and Goyim alike, some innocent, some really real criminals, okay, all types. And Rav Elimelech was very sad. He was very brokenhearted. So Rav Zusha was always the happy brother, the older brother and the happy brother. He said, Rav Elimelech, my brother, why are you so sad? What's wrong? He said, look at the situation. It's time to daven Mariv, to do Kriyat Shema of Arvit. I can't do anything because of this toilet in the middle of the room. I can't daven, I can't pray, nothing. We can't do anything. How am I supposed to be happy now? So Rav Zusha couldn't tell him the halacha. He reminded him the halacha of what it says in Shulchan Aruch, that if you're in a situation where you can't do, for example, Kriyat Shema or Shmoneh Esrei, so the halacha says, you say in your heart, Ribono Shel Olam, I want to do your will, but I am now prevented because of circumstances. It should be considered ke'ilu, as if I did the mitzvah. And the halacha says you are, yes, accredited as if you did the mitzvah. So Zusha said to his brother, Rabbi Elimelech, you, Mr. Lechatchila, Tzaddik Elimelech, you're always doing the mitzvah perfect. Now, for the first time in your life, you're doing the mitzvah like this. You should be the happiest person in the world that now you get a chance to do a mitzvah like this. Okay, and he got him so excited. They started dancing. They started dancing in the prison cell. And all the people there were all broken and dejected and feeling sad. They see these two Jews dancing. Rav Elimelech, Rav Zusha saw everybody looking at them. They decided to take everybody and they danced in a big circle around the toilet. So they're dancing everybody. Everybody's happy dancing around the toilet. The warden hears the noise. He said, what's this noise? What's going on? He says, because of the toilet. He said, oh, really? He went in, he took out the toilet. And so Rav Zusha told him, now you can daven. Now you can daven. Okay? This is the next stage. That's simcha of mitzvah, which is this example. Rav Zusha got his brother excited on the simcha of doing a mitzvah. It's not only a means, but it's the key for opening up. He wanted the lechatchila, and he got to it. He got what he wanted. How did he get to what he wanted to get to? By getting his brother, by accepting to be besimcha. This led for Hashem to open the doors to solve the problem. This was what Rav Nosson explains, is that if now you develop such a positive attitude, even when there's no solution that you see, Hashem sends your way openings that you didn't even think about, that weren't there even. You didn't see them at all. First of all, you're tense and everything, so you can't think clearly anyways. But number two, even if you had the chance to think clearly, who would have thought such an opening and a miracle would happen? Rabbi Nachman has another story to illustrate this point as a further development. He brings the story of a clay digger. There was a clay digger in Eastern Europe. Clay, poor guy, digging, selling clay, whatever. What type of parnasa is that? That's like nothing. And while he was digging the clay, he found a giant diamond, a jewel. So he flipped out, whoa, this is humongous. He ran to the jeweler, the local jeweler in this little village. He asked him an appraisal, how much does this cost? He said, I can't give you an appraisal, it's too big. I don't have the capacity to give you a price on such a giant diamond. I don't have the money even to buy it from you, right? Nothing. So what do I do? I can only suggest for you to go all the way to England, to the biggest diamond exchange in London. There, they can give you an appraisal, no problem. So excited, he sold everything he had. He sold his house, he sold his furniture, his horses, his wagon, whatever he had. And he set off to England. His money ran out just as he reached the edge of the European continent before sailing to England. He saw there a giant ship, a big, massive ship. And he went to the captain. He showed him the diamond. He says, look, my money is here. I don't have any cash on me. My money is here. I'm showing you I have the money. Let me on your ship. And I promise you, we'll cross the border. We get to into England. I'm just going to sell this diamond. And I'll pay you whatever price you're charging for a room, for boarding on your ship. The captain saw the diamond. He got very excited. He said, for sure, gave him the penthouse, a nice room. He escorted him to the room. The Jew sat down to eat. He took out his little crackers, whatever he had with him, his borscht, whatever he took with him from Eastern Europe, okay? And he put the diamond on the tablecloth, and he's eating. And while talking to the captain, he began to doze off. So the captain left him, okay? And the steward came in to clean the mess at the table. And the steward didn't notice the diamond on the tablecloth. So he wrapped everything up, went to the deck, and shook everything with the diamond off into the sea, okay? It took off already. The ship sailed off already. So when the Jew woke up after 10, 15 minutes and he saw the table totally clean, totally nice, spick span, he flipped out. He said, where's the diamond? He understood what happened. So he said, I'm finished. I am finished. He's going to kill me. This captain is a ruthless boy. He's really, really, tough cookie. For sure, he's going to wipe me out. I'm finished. And he was panicking, really fretting what to do. It came to his head the following. He said, the one thing between me and sure death, there's one possibility, and that's to act as if nothing happened, to pretend to be happy, and as if everything is okay, as if everything is okay. So he worked on that. He said, this is my only chance, this is my only hope, to pretend that everything's okay, even though it's not okay. It's not okay. I know it's not okay. He's finished. Nonetheless, I have nothing to lose, only possibly to gain. To fret and worry, for sure, not going to solve this solution at all. There's no opening for that. So he pretended to be happy. And after this, he heard a knock on the door. He opened the door, it was the captain. The captain came with like a very serious, but like subdued, submitted face. And he said, listen, I need a big favor from you. I see that you're a very trustworthy, honest man. I can trust you with the following. I have on this ship a giant, humongous cargo, the whole ship, in fact, with a cargo of wheat to bring to England. The value, even the minimal value before the profits, etc., before the profit range, way surpasses your diamond, believe it or not. That's how big the ship was. Okay, but the problem is, because I'm a captain and a known merchant, the taxes for me to bring in this wheat are much higher than normal. I asked this favor so we can save money. Can we sign all of the cargo on this giant ship under your name of the wheat? Okay, and when we cross the border, the taxes, you switch it back onto my name. The Jew thought to himself, thank God, this is what's going to save me. This favor possibly is what's going to save me from my sure dead end, my sure end in life. He signed, he said, very well, for sure, no problem. He signed it off. They crossed into England. Okay, they crossed the borders. And everything went smoothly. The captain began to have chest pains. He collapsed, fell down, and died, leaving all the wheat under the name of the Jew. Okay? Rabbi Nachman ended this analogy with the following. This is the point. He said that the diamond really did not belong to the Jew, proof being that it was taken away from him. However, the wheat really did belong to him, proof being that's what he ended up with. And how did he come to what was really destined to be his? How did he come to what was really for him? By faking it. He pretended to be besimcha. This faking it, even though it was no real simcha there, but he was trying to be positive and trying to be happy. This is what opened up the amazing destiny, the amazing hashgacha pratit, if you want to say, that brought him to get what was truly destined to be his. By being happy, he created a scenario that it was generating positive energy that now Hashem made an opening he never even thought. You think he would have thought this to happen, that the captain would ask such a request? Who in the world would think of such a request? 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. And yet it was activated because he worked on positive thinking by being besimcha. This led for an opening that he didn't even think of that existed, being there, opening the doors. So with all this, simchat mitzvah, simcha as a solution, as a means, as a solution, and making scenarios, positive scenarios taking place, Rav Nosson opens to us a totally new dimension in the power of simcha, in particular simcha during the mitzvah, is that simcha is the solution, period. When a person now is going through major difficulties, chas v'shalom, a possible divorce, or problems with children, health issues, chinuch issues, financial issues, the bank's running after me, and this and that, and all the more so in Avodat Hashem, that the person's trying for 20, 30 years to lose weight and to be healthy and kadosh v'tahor, and it's not happening. Trying to quit smoking, it's not happening. Trying to stop addiction to internet or pornography, and it's not happening. Trying to get up at chatzot, trying to do daf yomi, any level, that person's facing major frustration and confusion and anxiety and stress because it's not happening, it's not moving. So the normal attitude when this faces the person, and everybody eventually faces this, like Rabbeinu Tam says in Sefer HaShar, in life, everybody gets hit. Some people get hit early, some people in the middle age, some people later on. Everybody gets hit in life. The thing is, how do you face the challenge when it comes to you? How do you face it? What are you going to do when the challenge is sent to you? You're going to do the right thing or the wrong thing? Now, what is the right thing? I don't know. There's like 5,000 options in front of me. I can speak to this rabbi or this mechanech or this lawyer and this life coach or this, and to speak to this friend. Maybe this guy in the mafia can help me. This, that. The person thinks of 5,000 options. Who knows? It could work. And even if it is the right decision, if there's no siyata deshmaya, it's not going to work. So what do? It says that a person has to throw himself into simcha. When you're being squeezed, it's 98% chance you're going to make the wrong decision because when a person's under stress, he doesn't think clearly. And for sure, when you're under stress, you generate negativity. You automatically create negativity. Things don't work out automatically. This happens, that, the tire pops, and this, and this.